Any advice or information on this website is general advice only. It does not take into account your personal circumstances. Please do not trade or invest based solely on this information. By viewing any material or using the information within this site, you agree that it is general education material and you will not hold any person or entity responsible for loss or damages resulting from the content or general advice provided here by bodies and wicks, its employees, directors, or fellow members. Futures, options, and spot currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the futures and options markets, as well as Forex. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. This website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy, sell, trade futures, spot Forex, CFDs, options, or other financial products. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed in any material on this website. The past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results.
Hello and welcome to Bodies and Wicks. There I am. I'm Ted, and well, we got a little bit to go over. First, I'd like to say that this episode is sponsored by, yes, indeed, is sponsored by a new friend of mine called Moga. And if you never heard of Moga, it is a broker. So Moga has reached out to me and decided they wanted to partner with me. And so I'll show you a little bit about Moga. So Moga is online trading platform. Basically, they primarily for currencies, for foreign exchange. They also have metals. Let me see what else they have in their arsenal. I may just scroll through a little video here and show you guys. I know they have natural gas, as well as even the Chinese yuan, and yeah, natural gas, and plus the metals. Yeah, so the spreads are actually pretty good. I do like the spreads. The good thing about theirs is they have a 3-tiered system. So when you join up, you have a standard system. So all you have to do is deposit $100, and you have your account that way. That's just your standard account. They have a VIP account. The VIP account is where you'd have to deposit $1,000. Now with the VIP account, you get basically a signal software that comes with it. Now that signal software is basically it's a website or something that you can plug into your MT4, and it's kind of cool. It gives you some different kind of things that you can look at as far as retail trading is concerned. It'll show you like triangles that are forming inside, the market. It also show you, bring up certain currencies that have trends and whatnot. So it'll kind of give you like a heads up that way you're not having to scourge around the market, and just basically look for it. I believe it's called auto chartist. Yes, auto chartist is what it is called. And if we want to check out Auto Chartist, we can. So with your $1,000 investment, you do get this auto chartist. You can request a demo as well. Um, Let me see here. If I request demo, let's see what it does for us. Well, I guess there would have to be a little bit more stuff that I would have to put in here. But it does give you some information, some broker education, some things like that. And just to show you that I am part of yeah, see, I just started, so of course I don't have any money just yet. But this is my little platform here that shows me that I am a partner with MogaFX. I have a link for the clients, and also I have a link for people that want to bring in people. People that I think there's different perks in case you do want to have somebody that you do want to refer. I know for myself, if I do, if you do sign up, wrong thing. If you do sign up with my link, then once you get, I think it's, I should know this by now, but I know I don't have this by heart. Well, here's the auto chartist thing. I guess you guys have $5,000 in your deposit. Sorry, not 1,000. That'd be 5,000. You can enjoy various amazing services. But with the auto chartist itself, you would actually have to pay for it, and I believe it's quite a bit of money just to get auto chartist itself. So let me see how much I would actually have to pay in order just to get the auto chartist. But if you sign up with Moga, and you have a $5,000 deposit, you get auto chartist with it, right? So it's basically like a two in one. Say, as you can see here, it says, using advanced market scanner to oversee the current market, identify best, trading. And just like in any kind of tool that MT4, MT5 puts out, you also have to use your intuition along with it. It's not going to be the perfect end all be all. That's going to come with any kind of indicator or anything like that. But I know with me that if you do sign up with me, all you have to do is I think it's $1,000 or something like that, or geez, let me look it up really quick because I'm blinking here on exactly what my actual what they actually gave me here, as far as partnering with them. But I believe it's a free $50 bonus is what it is. So those who sign up with me do get a free $50 bonus for signing up with me. But I do believe you do have to spend, or at least at least have a certain amount of trades in before you do get that $50 bonus. I don't think it's that much though. But before you get that $50 bonus, but I do know that you do have to have here it is. Yeah. So you have to at least have trade at least 20 lots, and that can be micros, minis, whatever it is. It just has to at least be at least 20 lots in trading, whether it be positive or negative. Right, you can lose trades too, but as long as you do trade at least 20 lots in total. Then you do get a $50 cash bonus. It's not a credit or anything like that, but it is a $50 bonus. And the deposit does have to be $1,000. It can't be $100. Sorry, I forgot to mention that too. So, $1,000 deposit and do at least 20 lots in trading, and you get 50 free dollars. So that is their offer from me to you. What I'm getting is I really can't tell you what I'm getting from them, but I'm getting a good deal from them. But for me to for them for offer this to you, I'm getting a pretty decent deal. Now onto the charts. What I want to talk about today is what we're having right now is we're having a risk on scenario, right? Or I should say maybe a risk off scenario. Um, what do I mean by that? So let's take a look at all three of the different indexes, the major indexes here. We have the NAS, right? We have the SPX, and then we also have the US 30. Now, what we have in between these two, when I take a look at September 2nd on, but before that, they're kind of all doing the same thing. Not really, but it's from December 2nd on is where I notice the biggest difference between the three of these, right? So for the S&P, right, between these 2 points here, where one is making a low and then it makes a higher low. With the US 30, it makes a low and then it makes a lower low. With the NAS, it's kind of the same as the S&P, except for the higher low is a lot higher, right? So this tells me that we are definitely in a risk off scenario, or maybe risk on. Maybe I should look these terms up ahead of time. Either way, what this means is that the valuation of the dollar is not looking good when it comes to these kind of scenarios. And also, if you look at what has happened recently, especially with NAS, how it's taken some time to get to the top. Luckily it took some time for all three of them to make new highs. They all three have made new highs though. That is one thing that I have noticed is that they all three have made new highs. The thing with US 30 though is that you had a lot of back and forth going on here, making these new highs, almost forming a resistance wall here, as to where the others really have not. They've kind of steadily gone up. Each of these, I believe, well, except for the US 30. And the NAS, well, the US 30 and the NAS, I'm both looking at 4 hours. The SPX, I'm looking at the daily. Just for fairness, I will put them all at the 4 hour and kind of show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this one does kind of also go up and down, but it's not smacking the top like the US 30 is, right? So these are all definitely worrisome, especially when it comes to NAS here. It's not doing that at all. Instead, it starts really low and then it jumps up really high, right? So, this is all during the time period when the dollar, was sliding, and it seems like it's going to continue to slide. Now, today, well, let's also take a look at the CRB index, right? So if you know anything about the CRB index, it generally follows, or at least it's a little bit ahead of the SPX. So if we want to overlay, right, the SPX 500 with this, oops, you can kind of see how they're both kind of overlaying the top of each other. Now, generally, what the CRB index does is it gives you a little bit of an idea of when it's going to turn next. So, as you can see, they both kind of went down at the same time. Or at least maybe, this one goes up. See, this one goes down, and then as you can see, this one went up, and then next thing you know, this one goes up, right? And then this one goes down, and now we haven't yet to see, as you can see, this went up. Well, this kind of made more of like a little dip than anything, as to where this was a little bit more smooth, and then it started to smooth out going down. I have a feeling, since this is a risk off scenario, meaning risk off, people are not wanting to risk their assets, which means we're probably going to see these start to slide, right? We're probably going to see the SPX start to slide. I would say the SPX in general for sure start to slide. US 30, since it's kind of connected, you can already see it starting to slide. But today, at the end of the day, the NASDAQ did some crazy stuff. Sorry, not 15 seconds. Let's do 15 minutes. And let's do auto. Sorry, I kind of pointed out the Asian range here for the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ here, at the end of the day, went crazy. It was looking all fine, and then all of a sudden it just decided to drop, and then jump up really big, and then drop again. Well, actually, this was after it closed, so it dropped and then jumped up right before close, and now it's dropped a little bit, and it's consolidated in this area. What I have a feeling is probably going to happen is that it's probably going to consolidate during the the London session, maybe move up a little bit or something like that. But then once it gets down time to the London session, didn't mean to do that, because that's definitely not how markets work. You're probably going to see something like this, and then you're going to see it pull up a little bit, like it's going to take off, and then you're going to see it drop. That's what I have a feeling is what's going to happen to, probably not to the extent, that it is right there. It could, if it does what I'm going to say, especially with the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is something I'm actually watching out a lot more for lately. Mainly because I do have invested interest in it. I have been investing in the QQQ, which is an ETF of the NASDAQ. This is one thing I hate about TradingView, is that I don't know why it likes to do this, but it just likes to, for some reason, just zoom in. It just likes to zoom in, and it doesn't know how to zoom out. And it makes no sense whatsoever. So what I usually have to do is I have to close it and then completely open up a new window. I'll bring this over here. See, and I already had all of this taken away. I already did all of this. I removed all of this already, and I saved it on purpose. TradingView, you need to get your shit together. Seriously, you really do. 'Cause you're really starting to annoy me with all this, because I don't know how many times I have to go through and delete every single little thing that I've put on here. Save it, and then somehow it doesn't. I saved it, and I even loaded it just so I knew I saved it, and now it's doing it again. Is there a better site than TradingView to be honest, because like TradingView is really, really getting on my nerves with this crap. I don't know how many times I have to do this. And what makes me even more annoyed is when I do one of these, and then if I want to do NAS 100, it does this, but then it's completely different colored. It's nothing like what it is to this one. And if I wanted to change the time or something like that, well, it used to change both the times at the same time, and now it doesn't do that. I don't know. It just annoys the crap out of me, and it just doesn't do what I want it to do. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about with NASDAQ was that, see, now it's eliminated my... Jeez. It eliminated my my Asian range that I was looking out for. So thank you, TradingView, for doing that. But if it was to fall, right, what I would look for, I wouldn't look for too deep of a fall. But I would look for it to hit somewhere around in here. And I'm going to... Wait, where did all these colors come from? There we go. Okay. I would look for it to probably hit somewhere right in here, right? So look for about 12,295, right? Maybe just a little bit deeper, right? I probably wouldn't expect it to get any lower than this. 12,142, so somewhere in that range in there. Before you start seeing some kind of good reaction, right? A good reaction meaning going upwards. But I would expect it to probably move a little bit more upwards, during the London session, and then quite a sharp drop into this area right here before we get a good bounce. So this is the area that I'm looking for here, and I'll be watching the NASDAQ quite closely. Again, because we are going to have probably a risk-off scenario. As far as the S&P is concerned, I'm really not sure if I even want to watch the S&P, because that same area that I would be watching for the NASDAQ would be right here for the S&P, but I don't. I think it. I'm not for sure if it's gonna even get close to that. I may just tinkle around here for a little bit. US 30, again, not too worried about US 30. I think if anything, this one's probably going to have the biggest slide off than anything. And if it does have a big slide off, I'm expecting it to drop probably right around here. Somewhere in this area. This is where I'm honestly thinking that US 30 is probably going to go to. And if it does that, I would expect the S&P to probably have a pretty big slide off too, probably until about the same area, probably about right in here. Nope, wrong one. Somewhere around in there, right? But I honestly don't think it'll. I don't think it's going to get that low. That's a pretty big dip for one day, to be honest. Especially since we haven't seen that kind of a dip in a long time. But if we're going to be a little bit more realistic about it, then yeah, I would say probably something like that. Like I was looking at for NASDAQ. Something like that would also be something like this for the US 30. But I don't. I maybe even a little bit lower than US 30. It may even try to break these lows right here. That's what I'm thinking it's probably going to do. But I do think that with the way that the NASDAQ has been steadily increasing instead of wavering like the others have, I think it has the better potential to have a better run. That being said, let's take a look at the dollar. This is a 4-hour view of the dollar. Actually, what I want to do is actually take a daily look at the dollar. I know I have a bunch of lines down here, but that's on purpose. Because if we take a look at the 2018, I know we've taken a look at this before, and how it was just going up all the way up until, of course, COVID. And then, of course, it was doing good. And then all of a sudden, election day hit, and then it just took off downwards. So, that being said, all these areas right here, these are kind of consolidation areas. I wouldn't say consolidation areas, but areas that I'm expecting it to hit and at least try to make a bounce off of. And if it gets below this yellow line here, then what we're going to see is we're probably going to see a sharp drop, and then we're going to see it get below this area right here, or at least this area right here. So let me draw a little box to where I think if it gets below this yellow line, you have a big area right here, right? That's just all, let me see if I can't get that bigger for you so you can kind of see. That's all consolidation, right? All that's just a bunch of consolidation. So with the market maker buy sell model, I would expect something more along the lines of this, and actually probably even lower, because I think it's going to try to break those lows. So I'm going to say something more along the lines of this, right? I'm going to squish it together really quick, that way it's even easier for me to pull across. Because I don't like the way the dollar's looking right now. Right? So if we take a look at what the dollar's doing, sorry I have this purple line here because I was taking a look at what it was doing earlier today, and actually we can go over to this dollar that I have drawn out. So the way it's kind of wavered, especially from last week. So here was December 7th, and then we go on December 4th. Where's December 4th? So right here it is. So here is that line I had drawn, right? So it kind of, it looked like it was going to take off, and then at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, it just decided it wanted to slam down. Right, and so it's kind of wavering its way back up again, and then again I have a feeling it's going to slam down. So especially the way it's been going, as you can see, we've just had a steady decline. We've just kind of hit like a speed bump with all of the different resistance areas from 2018. So it's kind of in an area as to where it doesn't know what to do, because it's hitting all these different resistance areas. But eventually I think it's going to break through all these. And again, it's this yellow line here that has me worried. And then once it breaks through this yellow line, we're probably going to see it go and go and go and go and go until, what is it, 88.54, something like that. I think that's what we're going to see, to be honest. Now, what happens if we do get to 88.54? Expect the euro to just take off. I would say expect the euro to take off anyway, even if the dollar decides to go up. The euro has just been an absolute animal lately. If we look at like the 15 minutes of it, let's go to the auto. The euro, it didn't really affect the euro much at all last night. Whenever the dollar decided to move up, the euro just kind of like slightly went down. And I was up when this happened, and I was actually I was selling and then it got to here, and then I forgot what happened with the dollar. It got to a certain point, and I was like, you know what, the dollar could turn around here. I think I'm just gonna jump out here, and I'm gonna go to sleep and see what happens. I should have just left that at, at a 30 pip stop loss like I usually do, and then I should have aimed, because I was thinking about aiming for this high right here, and if I would have got, and it was right around here, because this is when it stopped and it was going back and forth, and I sit here and measured it, and I was like, oh man, I could have made 50 pips or something like that, 65 pips. And it was like, but you know what? You live and you learn. You can't. I learned that if you're always dwelling on what you could have done and you should have done, you're never gonna grow from that, and you're always gonna just pound yourself in the head and go, oh man, I should have done that. Instead, you look at that and you go, well, yeah, you know what, I screwed up that one time, so it's time to look at it again and see what we can do from this point. And it looks like what's been going on. Of course, it likes to hang around, especially at the end of the day. Loves to hang around these daily lows and daily highs that it's broken before, and that's where the Asian range was. Yesterday's Asian range's low was a daily high, and I think probably this was also this is daily high as well, if I'm not for sure. No, not at all. It was a swing high though, but it wasn't a daily high. Since it looks like what's happening now, and now that we're at midnight, which is actually an hour longer than what this is supposed to be, because I should have this at 11 o'clock. So it's midnight here, which means it's 1 o'clock New York time. So it's already getting into the time to where things should start to get moving. I shouldn't be playing with this right now, because it's just wasting time. Alright, I'm just going to delete that. And then what we're going to do, we'll just show 11. I'll move this down to, there we go, and then we're just going to copy and paste, and then move this up. Alright, and generally what happens, especially if we're looking at this, usually when it hits a previous Asian range, that's when you see a reaction. And considering this Asian range was actually probably somewhere around here, I would say we might see a reaction soon, especially since it's also cracking that daily high, especially since we're also seeing it crack this breaker here. So you have a high, a low, and then a lower high. So here we have a breaker forming, also at the time of a daily high. I would love to say that this is going to break lower, and it might break lower to get people thinking that it's going to sell, right? But with the dollar and the way everything acting and the way the euro is going, I am not going to put it past it that it would just drop and then take off. Because what happened is that the euro broke all these lows, right? So it broke these lows, and then did it break any more lows? No. So it broke a couple daily lows, the two previous daily lows, okay, right? And then it started turning upwards. So to me, this is where the sentiment is going. It didn't break this low again. So to me, the daily sentiment is going up this way. Our daily bias, to me, is going north. I have a feeling we're going to break these highs. These highs are very, very close to being equal. We also have, you kind of have an equal high here, even though it's really not an equal high. But you do have a wick that sticks up, and that is about equal to this. The algorithm is gonna feel that. It's gonna know that. It's gonna know that there's kind of two equal highs. It's gonna try to break that. So instead of this seeing, some kind of reaction and going this way, I have a feeling we're just going to see the euro just straight on go up. Now, as we're taking a look at this, let me look and see what the dollar is doing right now. Let's see if it's just wanting to take a dive. See if it's just wanting to take a swan dive into the ocean. And let's also take a look and see what could be stopping it from taking a swan dive to the ocean. So is there any kind of order blocks that could be stopping it? You have a bearish action here, right? You don't really have I'm trying to think of the word that you're looking for, is to where you have at least one or two candles that are bigger than this bearish candle here. Engulfing candle, that's the word I'm looking for. You don't have this engulfing candle. You have a lot of wicks that's pulling this down. A lot of bearish action in that. Have this coming up, right? Boom. Then you have straight down bearish action. You get some slow. You come up, boom, straight down bearish action. And ever since the new day has begun, the dollar has slowly gone down. It looks like exactly what I was talking about. It looks like we're probably going to see some bearish action. Alright, that being said, let's also take a look at what's going on with the British pound. The British pound has decided to wreck all previous lows because of this. I marked out almost every single daily low that we had going up into this point to where it was getting close to it broke this high here, from earlier in September, right? And then the next day, or I guess that was from the weekend, right? That Friday, it broke it. And everybody's thinking, man, this thing could probably go up forever. And then what happens? The next day, I mean, the dollar didn't even do that much. The dollar just kind of pulled back a little bit, and then the pound just came through and just busted all of us. And this is back from December 2019. So it did break that high, December 2019, on last Friday. That was last Friday, right? Yeah, that was last Friday. So it broke that high. It broke that, right? But the thing with the pound is it's weak. The pound is weak right now. So we can get down to the 15-minute of the pound and take a look and see what's going on, right? I mean, it just took a huge dive last night, and I just hit sell just watching it just fall, just because I just wanted to make a little bit of money, and I knew it was so weak that even if it stopped and it hit something, it turned around, it would still keep going. So I made quite a few bucks last night. It wasn't even a good setup. I just hit sell. That's something that you should never do, by the way. Make sure you have a good setup before you hit buy or sell. Don't ever just hit sell just because you think it looks good. But it's something I had been studying for a while, and I knew that the pound was weak, and it definitely showed its weakness last night. Now, is it going to show its weakness again today? I'm not for sure. But as of right now, you can see, even though as the dollar was slipping, since about, well, it reopened at the market around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, something like that. The pound kind of went sideways. Didn't really do anything. We don't really know what the pound did. Pound just kind of went up and down for a little bit. What'd the dollar do? This is the daily dollar. It kind of did the same thing, but it actually had a direction as to where the pound just went sideways. So, if anything, what should have happened is, since the dollar was going down, the pound should have actually went up in that same kind of direction, in that same kind of movement, like the euro did. The euro definitely did that. It didn't have as big as movements, but it took a direction and it went that direction. Let me take a look at this here. And let me think about what I want to do. All right, let's take a deep dive into it. How about that? Take a deep dive into it. 1 minute. Let's see what happens in the 1 minute chart. Is there anything in a 1 minute chart that shows? Nope. I was gonna say if there was just straight price action that just went straight down, we might be looking at something to where the euro would come up to this and then turn around and go down the other way. But instead, what we have is we have a lot of indecisiveness, right? We have a lot of indecisiveness in this. So, which tells me that the euro could still have the potential to move up. And it looks like it's doing that. So I'm not seeing anything, especially with this little breaker over here, which has this high, this low, and this higher high, that would cause any kind of reversal on the euro. I think the euro is going to continue to strengthen. It looks like the pound is probably going to make some headway too. If we take a 1 minute look at the pound, and this is why I like taking a look at the 1 minute, because I like looking at the price action when it comes to these type of things to see if there's any kind of discrepancy. And it looks like the pound just kind of went all over the place. See right here, the pound could actually stop and turn around for a little bit, but it could probably hit this little guy right here and then continue forward. So the pound might have some time to struggle for a little bit. But what it does have some equal highs right there. Right, see all those equal highs. The algorithm's going to read that. It's going to want to push above those, right? Looks like we do have some straight down price action. But the thing about GBP is that we don't have any kind of equal highs, right? Not even over here. Everything's kind of rounded off. So we don't have anything. We don't have any equal highs that to where the IPDA is going to be strongly sensationalized to navigate toward, to try to take out equal highs. We do have equal lows. Don't know if you guys noticed that or not. So that could be one thing that could bring the euro down, right? Is that if we do have something like this to where we know the pound could come down, break these lows, right? Even though it did already break all all of these souls, right, of the previous days. It could stop at an area like this. Right? So what I think we could probably see from this is a drop below here, right? Clear out these lows. And then move upwards. That's what I think we could probably see from the pound. And the reason it's going to clear out these lows is that everybody's going to think that you're going to buy from these, that this is a good resistance point, right? Or support area, I mean, a good support area, and that people are going to buy, right? Just go ahead and buy from the support area. And then it's going to go through there, take out all their, make sure it trips their buy limits. Hopefully they set their stop losses just below that. If not, I'll probably set them not too far from it. If anything, let's take a closer look at and dissect this area a little bit. The last down candle, before it moves up and for a displacement, it wouldn't be this one. This is too small of a candle. It would probably be this one. So I would say we could watch this candle right here. I'm gonna make this a different color so it stands out. Let's make this like a little bit of a green here. So maybe not this one. I think this is a little bit too obvious. I think this is a little bit too retailish. I think a lot of people would be looking at that thinking it would hit that and bounce off. I think it would probably go a little bit deeper to take out some people's stop losses. So instead of going there, I think we go here. No, that wasn't supposed to happen. That was supposed to happen. And I do kind of want to see how many pips that is, because if people set their buy limits, say they set their buy limits here, that way I at least get in the trade, before it hits the area. It's about exactly 30 pips. So who knows? It may go down just a little bit further, right? Maybe down to that last daily low area, right? That way, when people set their buy limits, and they set their buy limits here, and they go down to that last daily low area, it is about a little bit more than 30. You could be taking out some people, right? You could be taking out quite a bit of people. Some people don't even like to go 30 pips. Some people like to go less than that. So that's what I'm gonna think might happen with the GBP. This is all going to have to depend on what's going to happen with the dollar. It's going to have to see if the dollar even goes up for those to go down, right? Which that could happen, right? And the dollar could come down here and hit some kind of order block like here, right? Like it is already, right? Come back up. And then that could, especially with GBP, it can make this little bit of move, and then all of a sudden the GBP slams down while the dollar barely retraces up to here and then comes back down, and then that's when you see the GBP go up. As to where the euro, euro is going to delicately, continuously make its way upward, I believe. I don't think we're going to see any trouble with the euro going downwards. It might during the during the London session. But I mean, it's already it's already made its way up. This could be a Judas swing, right? Judas swing, meaning everybody's thinking it's gonna go up. It pulls down. Whenever it pulls down, now let's take a look at the area in the Asian range here. Is there anything in the Asian range that could stop it in its tracks? It looks like it did kind of make a good jump here and go up. Looks like this kind of could have been like a 50% mark. So we did a fib retracement, right? And we did it from here. And let's do it from the Asian range, right? Let's just do a fib retracement of the Asian range. So it stayed above that 50%, moved up, even hit the 162, came down. It's already back at the 127. And it's looking like it's already wanting to move back up. And I'm on the 1 minute, by the way. No, well, no, kind of comes down. It's the previous daily high. See, this is why I like marking out previous daily highs and lows. They do serve as good purposes, but then again, it also served as a order blockish kind of area. Last down candle before it did go up, but now it's pushing down pretty hard, so we'll see. Anyways, what are your bets on for it? What are your bets on for tomorrow? Huh? Anyways, that's all I got. I just wanted to throw that out there. See what you guys think. Also, check out my Twitter channel or my Twitter feed for Bodies and Wicks. I'm trying to get out the information to all the good people out there. Whether it be little information, like how to use Coinbase, how to use Acorns, things like that. Also, want to give a shout out to Moga and the Auto Chartist. Shout out to them for partnering with me today. Not much of a shout out to TradingView since you always like to screw up my charts, but we'll see what happens. Let's see what happens with the USD. This is gonna be the one I'm gonna watch. I think personally, I think we're gonna see maybe a little bit of a dip, but I think Euro is gonna take off. I think pound might still go sideways. I think the dollar is just gonna completely obliterate and fall. The one thing I didn't talk about that we probably should talk about is gold, right? So gold did something I didn't expect it to do. It went up with the dollar, right? Right, it went up with the dollar, and even when the dollar went back down, it did seem like it went unscathed. It just kind of was like, well, oh well, right? So, let me see here. So, yeah, 2:00 in the morning. I think the dollar did the exact same thing. Dollar dropped, the dollar went up. So did gold. So, and then the dollar dropped, gold didn't. Gold continued on. I think we might see a return of gold, to be honest. Might see a return of gold. I think people might be getting a little bit weary of their money. about where it could possibly head. People being a little bit uneasy of the future. People being a little bit uneasy of cryptos, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, even though they've had their good runs. It looks like the bull run may have ended, or at least slowed down for a little bit. May not completely ended, but at least slowed down. And we'll see what happens from here. But we'll definitely be taking a good look at gold, and we'll see what happens from there. But from me, that is all I got, and hopefully you guys like my material. If you could, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Doesn't take too long. Bringing out more information like this to you guys. Hopefully it's good information. That way you guys can stay informed, make good informed decisions on how to invest and how to trade. And hopefully hopefully you can check out MogaFX. Check out what kind of uh, clientele they bring. Also check out what kind of commodities and equities they bring, and currencies they bring. As long as they're spreads, hopefully you like it. You can find my links and everything in the description. You can find my links for everything in the description. You can find how to contact me in the description. Anything you wanted to do, if you want to sign up as a new trader for Acorns or Robinhood or Stash or anything like that, it's all going to be in the description. I try to bring any kind of financial information I can to you guys, and hopefully that way you guys can invest in your future, and start saving and retire early. That's what we're all here to do, right? We're not going to become millionaires overnight, but through practice and through time, we all can learn how to live comfortably, and still have the rest of our lives to live. We're not going to have to live until we're 80, or work until we're 80, and die, sitting behind a desk at work. We can do it on our own, and let's do it together. So with that, I will leave you guys be, and just want to remind you all to always wear your pants.